What's up, y'all? I just got back from Costa Rica. I went to a Nostr developer conference, and it's amazing. There's a bunch of Bitcoin OGs and a bunch of social media OGs who have come together and are now all building on this social media protocol called Nostr. So Nostr is a decentralized way to do speech and communication on the web. And it's crazy to me how there's a bunch of OG Bitcoin developers who are all interested in this. Why? Because it's decentralized and censorship resistant. I talked to even a 60-year-old who's building on Nostr, and he said it's the new frontier. So this video will include a bunch of interviews from the developers, including the guy who's bringing back Vine on Nostr, a guy who built Truth Social, and now is spending all his time on Nostr, and then the founder of Primal, along with some other developers. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I learned a lot from these guys, and I'll see you back in the jungle for the next video.
I was doing things on Mastodon, and the Truth Social team found me online because I had been engaged in open source. Like pretty much every major opportunity that I've had in my life has come from contributing to open source in some way. And because I was building in this decentralized social media space, and they actually wanted to use the software that I had written, because they had already decided that they were using Mastodon, and I had written software that's like complementary to Mastodon.
Okay.
So they found me, they found my blog where I wrote about like freedom and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, this guy may be interested. So yeah. And so I mean, I got an email from a guy who seemed kind of crazed, just asking if we can add my software back onto Mastodon. And he wouldn't tell me like what it was. But I got in a call with him. He was like, I can't tell you what this is going to be, man, but like there's millions of people waiting to get onto this thing. For me, like the point of agreement that I have with that political agenda is just that I thought Donald Trump shouldn't be banned off of Twitter. And I saw it as a big opportunity to bring decentralized open source social media to the masses.
So let's maybe make a distinction. You don't think Donald Trump should have been banned, or maybe you don't think anybody should have the power to ban.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, Nostr fixes that issue at a fundamental level. And like Truth Social, they weren't actually interested in fixing that fundamental issue. They just wanted like a new platform, new rulers.
It would have been quick to switch over, right, and build this thing.
That's true, because they already built on Mastodon.
Yeah.
So they took extra effort to remove functionality from Mastodon in order to prevent it from joining the open federation of like on the web.
Yeah.
And I've built a bridge between Mastodon and Nostr. So, you know, it's hypothetically possible that if they were to turn that back on, then like you'd be able to be communicating with Truth Social users from Nostr through the bridge. But again, like that really wasn't what their priorities were. Like they're not, because it's a libertarian ideal, I guess, to want to give power to people.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in that. They're just interested in claiming power for themselves.
And I wanted to ask you today, like, there's so much in the sovereignty and freedom and privacy tech space that I get overwhelmed, and I in theory care about this stuff.
Yeah.
What should I primarily focus on? Like, in terms of maybe messaging, you're working on a messaging app right now.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get to Bitcoin too.
I think on a more foundational layer is first become aware that there is a problem and that you should consider solutions. And most people don't really see that a lack of privacy is a problem, but it really is. Specifically because if you don't have privacy, then people know where you are and how much stuff you have, and they can come and hit you until you give it to them. Right? So privacy is a very, very cheap defense. If the attacker doesn't know who you are, where you are, what you have, then he can't really come after you. Right? So, and then privacy is the ability to selectively reveal yourself to the world.
That's right. I love that.
And so this means that the real question to ask yourself is, what are you telling about yourself to others, specifically service providers, right? And you really need to tell them that in order to solve the problem that you are trying to solve. And so, and basically just go through the list of apps that you have on your phone, right? And first of all, consider, do I need this app, right? Is this really something important? This piece of software written by someone else that does God knows what, right? Do I want to have that on my computer? maybe you don't need it, right? But then if you do, consider, go through the kind of privacy policy or maybe the architecture of the software and think, what is my phone telling to that other computer? And am I okay with that? Right? And very often you will realize that, for example, if you check the permissions of these apps, that your entire contact book is being sent to the company, and your location, and how long you've been using your phone, right? And what other apps are installed, etc. All of this type of information that the company doesn't really need, right? And they've just asked you to give it to you, and you kind of by default just click next, 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 and agree to everything. And oftentimes the app works just fine if you say no, 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 no. You don't have the permission for all of the sensitive data, and oftentimes the app works just fine. But ultimately, if you are using a tool that was built for convenience as the most important thing, then very often privacy has been an afterthought. And the good thing is there are alternatives to basically every application that you're using right now. I can promise you there is an alternative that is free and open source, self-hostable, privacy preserving, and that will does basically what you want it to do. And then you can choose if you really want to take greater care yourself to actually work on or work with these applications and provide the services yourself. The beauty of open source is that we don't have to do the same work over and over.
Yes.
And then what we're doing is not only working on white noise as one app, that should replace Signal or something. That's not the goal at all. What we're doing is to build a library, right, that brings all of these other protocols together, and then that other developers like your team can work on having the full-on chat app while even have to worry about less problems, right? All these guys solve problems before us.
Yeah.
Now we solve our little share of problems, and then we pass it on to the next guy, and we just keep solving problems.
That's amazing.
With Nostr, because it's a protocol, I think that we have the opportunity to avoid the consolidation of platforms. So, and that's where things get really dangerous, was when a single platform captures a billion users.
Yeah.
Right? But if you have 100 platforms that each capture 10 million users, that's an entirely different thing.
Yeah.
And if those 100 platforms talk to each other, then users can have credible exit to move from one place to another.
That's, I think, like, the more I think about it, that's the key piece, even more than like algorithms and whatnot, is like just the fact that you can opt out. So that's what keeps all these apps maybe evil proof, because of the optionality to go to another app.
Yeah.
So
what I want to do with social media is really make an awful medium less awful.
Yeah.
Because I think it can be decoupled from a lot of those things. I'm not 100% sure that digital media is a good thing or in harmony with nature or conducive to human flourishing per se, but it's also a reality and a fact.
And a tool.
And a tool. Yeah, exactly.
So what's the difference with how Vine, this new revamp of Vine, Divine, what's the difference now? How are they going to own their own content, voice, and everything like that?
Yeah, so we built Divine on top of Nostr, which means it's an open source protocol, and you control your own name, you control your own content, and you can choose which servers or who to communicate with. But what we wanted to do was not sort of give people something too technical. And we wanted to condense it down to just a few core concepts. And one of those is like the classic format of the 6-second video, because that's gone away as other video apps are trying to get you to spend more time and watch more, like do ads. And also video is totally overrun by AI slop. It's like we just removed that, and we have all these other things it gives you, but that's the core premise, is people want those classic Vines. They want to be able to make that again, and they want to know that real people made it.
Yeah, that's huge. So that's going to be in the app.
Yep, absolutely.
And just to get more fired up, you are in contact with a lot of the old creators on there. And
absolutely, that was the amazing thing. So I went and found all of these, like 175,000 of the old videos on the Internet Archive, and like reconstructed people's accounts. And then when I did that and started announcing it, all of these famous Viners started contacting me and like dropping into my DMs and like begging for accounts to get back. And so a bunch of them, they miss that. These are people who are successful on the big platforms, but they miss the raw humor and connection and the way you need to condense it. And so like, we'll see, but like a bunch of them want to come back. And so we'll see new content from the old stars.
That's super exciting.
Fiat currency is perverted money with perverted incentives. And so a restoration of sound money is a restoration of honest money, which is money that tells the truth, which is money that is anchored in transcendent virtues rather than in the interests of a few people who have the levers to influence and get what they want. So Bitcoin, the phrase Bitcoin fixes this, I think it's true. Like, it's not Bitcoin that is fixing it, and it doesn't completely fix it, whatever it is, but money has bearing on so many different things. And I'm really thankful that Bitcoin exists and is giving us a chance to have a solution to these problems, not a solution that's independent of God's grace, but a solution that orients us back towards God's grace and makes it easier for us to receive that grace.
Nice. All right, Milian, you came out of retirement to make another social media app, and you called it Primal. One, why'd you call it Primal? Two, why does the world need another social media app?
Oh, I called it Primal because freedom, I guess. It's our true nature to be free. It's something that's deep down inside all of us. So yeah, felt primal, and primal.net was available.
Huge. So how was that available?
It was like $2,000, something like that. Yeah. So snatched that and kind of slept over it. Next day still seemed like a good name. People seemed to like it and relived it.
Whoa. And what makes Primal free? And like, why do we need it as opposed to like the social media landscape today?
Yeah, so why does the world need another social media app? It doesn't, desperately. And it's a little bit weird because when I started, my wife asked me, like, wait, social media? Like, you hate social media. Why would you do that? And I was like, yes, but this is important. So it's not that the world needs another social media app. It's the world needs the internet that is actually free and patrolled by the users. And Nostr as a protocol enables us to do this. And social media apps are one of the many ways we can use to bootstrap this new protocol. So now, 2, 3, 4 years in, we have hundreds of apps. We have probably 50,000 active users, all at Kumar, holding their keys, sovereign, able to jump around between any Nostr app or service they wish to use. The cryptographer's dream from decades ago of kind of bootstrapping cryptographic web of trust is being fulfilled here. And like we're here to witness it and to participate in it. So that's pretty wild.
What a time to be alive.
And that's what the world actually needs. And then from here, let's see what we can do to grow and to kind of bring more people in onto this new network that I think is incredible.
Nostr has a place that can solve like so many things that are broken, that have permeated brokenness into everything in society, in just how humans interact and how much time we spend on our phones, in the brokenness of communication. I think Nostr like it really fixes all of it.
Yeah, so right now, the current incentives, it's like you said, it's the survival of the sticky.
Yeah.
That's the only way social media apps will survive. But there is this massive like uprising and like knowledge that this is happening to us. Like a lot of people feel it. Yeah, no, it's unhealthy, but it's like it's necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like we are in the, I don't know, the 1990s or something like that with regards to health. Like I see all social media, like
Internet, phone.
with the internet, yeah. Kind of like everything right now is sort of like a mix of McDonald's and something like that.
Yeah.
But you don't have the awareness of just how bad it is. You feel bad after it.
Yeah.
But you can't really articulate what is the alternative. And I see such a massive, I think the market for people that want social media that is a healthy relationship with social media in the same way that we have food and then we have healthy, we couldn't. And we realize, okay, now we can point to the things
that regardless of whether you're a vegan or a meat eater, it doesn't matter. You're coming at it from the point of being intentional about what you eat and how you relate to food. I think we are going headfirst towards the same thing with Nostr. There's just a few of us that are being able to see it and find it,
Actually do something about it.
actually do something about it.